I also have this bean who is like learning how to snuggle on top of blankets. Yeah. Normally he just snuggles with us in bed, and he's like slowly starting to snuggle on the couch too. This is going to be a video of the 26 books that I want to finish in 2026. I am also going to do a video of the 26 series that I would like to complete. The other thing that I have going on with this particular challenge for myself is that some of these books are going to be on the unhaul pile if I don't read them. So basically, I've heard self-destructing books, unhaul before the end, or, whatever you want to call it. I don't know that I've decided which ones, because honestly, all of them have the potential to be on that list if I don't enjoy them. But I do think there are a few that I've had for a really long time and have been kind of on the back burner for a really long time. And these are all going to be from my just general TBR, not my book box TBR. And so I have 5 shelves on that bookshelf. And so I just went and picked like 5 or 6 from each shelf. So I'm going to go through the stacks and kind of talk through how long I've had them and all that kind of thing. I was trying to pick books that I would be really excited about, and at least 12 that I was going to be less inclined to read unless I had something like this in front of me. So I'm going to go through the stacks and just kind of talk through them a little bit. From the first shelf, we have Tempest and Slaughter by Tamara Pierce. I've had this on my shelf for a really long time, basically since it came out. And she is one of my favorite authors of all time. So honestly, it's kind of a travesty that I have not finished this, or, even picked it up at all. Then we have The Map of Salt and Stars. I do believe this author has transitioned, so I don't want to be incorrect and say the wrong name. I got this for a book club and started it and got maybe 20 pages into it and then never finished. Obviously did not participate in the book club for very long. I just need to pick it up. I just need to finish it. This, I think, is going to be one of the 12 that is going to be on the self-destructing books or unhaul at the end. So that's at least one. Next is Once There Was. This is an ARC that I got when I went into the used bookstore. It was a freebie that they were giving out if you spent over a certain amount on books. I think you would just spend $10 or $20 or something, and they gave you a free ARC. I started this and enjoyed it, but it wasn't what I was in the mood for at the time. I think it'll be cute. It is, I think, more middle grade, so it's not necessarily something that I am going to gravitate towards anyway. It's been a couple years since I've gotten it. Next is The Tale of Princess Fatima, a Warrior Woman. This is a Penguin classic. It is the Arab epic of Daj al-Hima. I'm probably really butchering that. Yeah, so apparently I got this in 2021. One of my best friends and I went to Austin and we went to Book People, which is their big indie bookstore. I picked this up at that time. And I did read a few pages in the store and really enjoyed it. And then I think I read a little bit more of it after I brought it home, but have not picked it back up to finish it. So that needs to happen. Then next is the Once and Future King. I picked this up out of a little free library when I lived in Boston, and I moved back home in 2017. So it's been a while. So I have my main TBR shelf, and then I had a couple stacks of books that didn't really fit anywhere, and they are ones that I want to read, so they are technically TBR books, but I had them on a different shelf kind of just to get them off the floor. After I pulled these books, I was able to, relocate those over there, but I'd already picked all of my books, and so I have a bonus 27th book in here, and that book would be Michael Collins, The Man Who Made Ireland. This is by Tim Pat Coogan, and my really good friend gave this to me when we graduated college. It was like my graduation gift from him. I haven't read it yet. So it is well beyond time for me to do that. So he was an early member of the IRA, he was assassinated in 1922 and thwarted the British in a lot of their activities in Ireland, which is wonderful. And I probably should have read this by now. Fun fact, I did go to, one of my professors in college is actually like a distant cousin to Tim Pat Coogan. I asked him about it, and he was like, yeah, we've like exchanged emails a couple times, but like I don't know that they like know each other. So that one was my bonus one. And then I picked up Kingdom of Souls. Damien got me this a few years ago. It is a YA African inspired fantasy, and I started this, got maybe 50 pages in, and like again wasn't in the mood. And one of the things that I have discovered about myself is that a lot of the African inspired fantasy that I've been reading is YA, and a lot of them have not really worked for me. And I think that it is because it's YA. The parts that aren't working for me are the characters. Like the characters just feel really young. Their actions don't necessarily feel believable, or they just act really, like they just make poor decisions. And the worlds and the folklore and that kind of stuff, like the settings and plot points, well, maybe not necessarily plot points if the decisions are bad, but that stuff was working for me, just the characters weren't. And so I think I need to find adult African inspired fantasy. So if anyone has any recommendations for that, I would appreciate it. So this one is also going to be on one of the 12 self-destructing books. So that's number 2. Next is Norwegian by Night. I need to read this because I'm borrowing it from my sister, and I've had it probably for a year already. So next one is The Summer Dragon. I picked this up last year and read like a chapter or so of it. This is another one from Damien, and when I picked it up, I thought it was really good. And I took it on a trip. We went to Prague last Christmas with my family, and it was like our big Christmas gift is like going as a family. And so I took this and a Juliet Marillier book. I finished the Juliet Marillier book on the trip, and then had this left to read like the last like day, and then like on the airplane ride home. And by that time I was like, no, I'm done. I need like a show or a nap or something. And so I just didn't ever end up picking this back up to read it. So, and I really enjoyed the first couple chapters that I did read. So I just need to get to it. Next is Across the Wall. This is like short stories and novellas from the Aporson trilogy world, Old Kingdom. And it's probably a little criminal that I've started this a couple times and haven't finished it ever, so it's probably beyond time that I finish this. Next is The Neverending Story. I read this as a kid. At one point when I was in like college, maybe late high school, I went through, like I purged a lot of books, and some of them I regret, and some of them I'm like, yeah, I don't need those ever again. And this is one of the ones that I didn't purge, but thought about it, and I was like, no, I want to reread it before I make a decision. And have I reread it to make a decision? No. And it's been probably 15 years since I have had that thought. So this is well beyond due to be read. One that I am gonna probably keep, whether I like it or not, is How to Rule the World, a handbook for the aspiring dictator. I learned about this in college, but I think I got this as like a white elephant gift in grad school. And it's like a satirical book perfect for like history, poli-sci, international affairs. And yeah, so this is probably just gonna stay. That's the second stack down. The third stack, this one has a lot of books that I am pretty excited about. So the first one is The Dream Gatherer by Kristen Britton. This is one of her novellas set in the Green Rider world. And I, again, have started this and never finished it. So it's time. Next is A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher. This was recommended by Janessa from Mimo Reads, and I picked it up from the used bookstore probably sometime last year. Have I picked it up? No. Have I gone out and bought the sequel? Also no. The next one is Next Year in Havana by Chanel Cleaton. I read this a while ago, gave it to my mom, forgot that I had given it to my mom, rebought it, and then my mom gave her copy back to me, and I think I got rid of the other copy. And I am sitting here wondering if I got rid of the one that doesn't have the permanent sticker on it. If so, I'm going to be really annoyed with myself, but you know, like, I don't remember. I just don't. And anyway, this is going to be a reread, but I do have the sequel. I do think there are a couple, I think there are 2 or 3 books that follow this one by the same author, like within the same family. And so I wanted to reread this one. I do remember having a really good time with this, so this will probably stay in my house. And then next one is The Witch of Little Italy. I got this also from my mom. I've had this on my shelf for at least 3 years, probably longer. And this is going to be the third self-destructing book, like, for sure. It sounds like paranormal-ish lit fic, like, probably have a good time, but like maybe also not necessarily my preferred genre. The last one from that stack is Mossflower. When I did my purge in high school or early college, I got rid of all of my Redwall books, and I am still so mad. I'm like, why did I do that? Why? And I've like slowly been regathering them. I only have 3 right now because I was like, okay, I read Redwall and was like, okay, I need to just go like one at a time and not just go out and get all of them again. So Mossflower is next. I had a really good time when I reread Redwall, so I'm hoping the same for this one. And then this next shelf is either travel or it's going to hurt me. Starting off strong with Sword of Kaigen. I picked this up from, it's the Page and Wick special edition, and it's their reprint of it. And I've heard incredible things, but I've also heard that it's just emotional damage in a brick. In that same vein, Song of Achilles. I've had this on my shelf probably since it came out, and I have not read it. And then some travel ones. I have Incidents of Travel in Yucatan, which I think it should possibly be the Yucatan, but whatever. This was on my dad's bookshelf, and he was getting rid of a bunch of books. And I have this. This comes in 2 volumes, and then there's a third book that is travel in like the Chiapas and Yucatan. So it's related, but it's also by the same author. God, when was this published? It's kind of old and crusty. First published in 1963, is an unabridged republication of the work first published by Harper and Brothers in 1843. This is definitely for sure on the self-destructing books, as are the 2 others that are related. Because if I don't have a good time with this, I'm certainly not going to be having a good time with those other 2. Next, we have Turn Right at Machu Picchu. My parents and I went to Machu Picchu many, many years ago, and it was my graduation gift after I graduated college. It was like a lifelong dream trip for my dad, and when I was little, he was talking about it, and he was talking about like where he wanted to travel next, and he was like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere new until I go to Machu Picchu. And I said, I'm coming too. And then asked, where's that? We were talking about like, oh, like we can go these places. And then we were like, let's go to Machu Picchu. And like in the airport on our way to Machu Picchu, we found this book. And have I read it? No. Also related is Tales from Margaritaville. Jimmy Buffett is my musical soulmate. Random fact about me. This is just a bunch of short stories from Margaritaville and I think possibly his life. I've had that one for a really long time, so it do be time to do that. I did read his book, Where is Joe Merchant? And that is wild. It's a wild time. So if you're looking for like unhinged wild ride, recommend it. It was fun. For my last trick, for our last shelf, this is all nonfiction and sci-fi. So first we have the Horse, the Wheel, and Language, How Bronze Age Writers from the Eurasian Steppes Shaped the Modern World. I visited one of my best friends from high school in Chicago, where she went to school, where she went to college, in, I want to say, '08. And we went to a bookstore that I don't think is there anymore or has moved. And I picked this up there. Have I read it? Not at all. Next is A Princess of Mars. I wanted to rewatch the, is it just called John Carter? I don't know. I wanted to rewatch that movie and got Damien to watch it with me and was like, I should read the book because, it's a whole series actually. And so I was like, all right, well, we'll just get this. Damien got this for me and I started it and have not finished it. I decided that before I keep buying any of them, I need to read the first two that I have. Next is The Last Madam, A Life in the New Orleans Underworld. This was also in the little free library near my house in Boston. This is going to be a self-destructing book. I think so is probably A Princess of Mars, because if I don't like it, then I will be getting rid of it. I'm probably going to end up picking like 12 and just being like, yeah, these are the ones we're getting rid of. Who even knows? Then the final nonfiction is The Memoirs of Lady Hyegong. This is the autobiographical writings of a crown princess of 18th century Korea. This was recommended by June Her on her Instagram. She was talking about some of the books that she used for research for some of her fiction books that took place at the same time. And then the final book I also picked up from Book People on a separate trip when I was with Damien is Space Unicorn Blues. We were there in 2018, so yeah. This one sounded goofy. It sounds like it could potentially be somewhere along the lines of like Becky Chambers. Anyway, it sounded really fun and it's been sitting on my shelf and I enjoy sci-fi, but I'm not always in a sci-fi kind of mood. And I feel like I'm really picky when it comes to sci-fi with what I like. And I don't always want to spend my time figuring out what I want. I feel like I know I can like pick out fantasy better than I can sci-fi. But when I find good sci-fi that I like, I really enjoy it. So I'm hoping this is one of those. Like I said, I am going to do a separate video for the 26 series that I would like to complete this year. I will see y'all in that video or in another one. Let me know what books are on your list to read for next year. And if you have thoughts on any of these that I've just gone through. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.